Like almost every night at the resort, I guess so. And then she said he told her he didn't hook up with anybody at the resort. He's like lying to her. And then they slept together the first week he got home from the resort.
Interesting. So this is obviously Courtney spilling the tea regarding Rob and Sophie. So the whole time Rob was at the resort, we do know that he got close with Elise. We know he got close with Jen. And we know that when it came to him and Jen, it got so close that they were intimate throughout the time. Now, of course, he was messaging Sophie the whole time he was at the resort and telling her that he was not getting close to anybody and not being physical with anybody. Purely because I guess he still wanted to string Sophie along, still wanted to give her some sort of hope that, not necessarily that they can be together, but at least to let her know that she's still the only woman in his mind. So therefore, when he got out, they could obviously do a little dingle-dangle. It's a shame though, because to be honest with you, I don't know what's more the problem, the fact that he lied or the fact that he did all that just so he can smash Sophie again. You know, because to be honest with you, it would have been a better story. Let's say the whole time he was there at the resort, he didn't sleep with anyone. And he did talk to people for the sake of the show, but then his real intentions, his real heart was still with Sophie. So maybe it would have been cooler to hear that he actually got back to Sophie after being in the resort because he realized how much connecting with other women just wasn't for him. But nah. He just pretty much exposed the kind of dog he is. And he's the kind of person that even if he's no longer with somebody, he will still text that person things to make them feel as if something is still there or whatever, for the hopes that, you know, they can still continue doing a little ting here. Now, of course, this doesn't necessarily make Sophie innocent in the situation, because realistically, should Sophie still be messing with Rob? Absolutely not, because Sophie is the one that left Rob. Okay, and she's the one that has thrown so many accusations his way, you know, accusations of abuse, accusations of him being gay, accusations of him being gay for pay, accusations that are just crazy. So to be honest with you, the fact that she would still willingly sleep with him, regardless of all these accusations that she's thrown in his direction, is crazy. And the fact that Rob would still talk to Sophie and still want to entertain her after all of these public accusations, it's crazy work, because she's gone out of her way to try and damage his reputation to the public. But hey, Sophie and Rob, both of those two, wackadoodles. Which is maybe why they're both suited for each other. But nonetheless though, let's get into what else happened on this week's episode of Behind the Sheets on 90 Day Hunt for Love, and you know, the things that we always get to never see on TV. Let's get into it.
Audacity. This woman gave you a chance. I felt Tim is afraid to be rejected. He spent the first week or two just in his room watching.
So this was quite interesting to find out. Obviously, I did release a video, I believe, yesterday regarding Tim and obviously him having this a lack of confidence, him obviously, you know, having a lack of self-esteem. And it is quite interesting because obviously here it shows us that when he first came to the resort, he literally was hiding in his little room. But now all of a sudden, he's finally got a connection with a woman, or something that could potentially build in a connection. What does he do? He throws himself under the bus. Now, if you haven't seen the video from yesterday regarding what happened on 90 Day Hunt for Love, go check it out so you know exactly what Courtney's talking about in this one here, because she just saw the scene and she's merely just sitting and thinking, hold on a minute, what is wrong with this guy? Like, why are you doing this to yourself? Friend zoning yourself. And most importantly, you're talking about you couldn't connect to people, but yet when you was here, you was hiding for the first 2 weeks. So how the hell are you supposed to connect with anyone? Which is a fair point.
Girls, because he's like, oh no, I think he's scared they're gonna reject him. So he's like, no, you don't like me, I'm not good enough, Rob's better than me. I think he should himself. It's like, just try.
At the end of the day in life, all we're supposed to do is try. Without trying, then what the hell are we doing?
I'll be your friend.
You better be my friend.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Which is obviously a little clip of the references of in particular. I still want to be your friend, we should still be friends. Honestly, I'll never know what it's like to friend zone yourself. Never put myself in that position. Have I been friend zoned? Yes. Have I ever gone out of my way to friend zone myself? No. And to be fair, the older that I've gotten, the more I've avoided that, to be honest with you. You know? Like, you know, sometimes you can be talking to a woman and she could be like, you know, even if things don't work out, yeah, maybe we can be friends, you know? Like the early talking stages. And they're like, you know, I like the fact we get along, you know what I mean? You know, and this is good. I really hope this goes somewhere. But if it doesn't, I'd like to still have you in my life as a friend. My reaction was like, listen, we'll never be friends. I'm not here for that. I've got friends. I don't need another one. Like hell, I'm going to be friends with a woman that I actually physically want to be with. Make that make sense. Nah, I'm not doing that. I'm not a child anymore. Are you crazy? But meanwhile, Tim at 40 plus age of age, 40 plus years of age is still out here pretty much friend zoning himself and getting friend zoned. And it's crazy because at the end of the day, these things are happening not because Tim is unattractive, not because Tim has a different type of personality to maybe what is deemed as a masculine energy or whatever. It is due to the fact that there is a pattern within himself that makes with women look at him as a friend rather than look at him as a partner. Because the matter of the fact is, somebody said in the comment section of the most recent video, there are men out there that are butt ugly, but they've got the finest honeys. You know what I'm saying, okay? And there's also vice versa too. You know what I mean? There's women out there that ain't all that, but they got some very good looking and shaped dudes. Because at the end of the day, confidence is key, and how you carry yourself matters. If you're carrying yourself in a way that says, listen, I'm here because I want to actually see where we can go with this, trust me, the person you're talking to is going to pick up on that vibe. But if you're carrying yourself in that kind of way where it's like, you know, I'd actually be a really good friend to you, even if we didn't become a thing. Listen. And if you haven't got much going for you in any other aspect, trust me, whoever you're talking to is going to pick up on that energy. And they're going to be like, you know what, I'm going to friend on this fool because I need someone that's a bit more direct of it. You see what I'm saying? Again, it depends on obviously who you are obviously communicating with. But at the end of the day, there's clearly something about Tim's personality that when he talks to women, they seem to get this vibe of, you know what, I feel like you'd be better off as a friend rather than a partner. And that is down to him. It's how he carries himself. Okay, it's just that simple. So any guy out there, any girl out there, if you're always talking to someone and for some reason you're always friend zoned, let's put it this way, right? It can go several ways. Let's say, for example, you're talking to someone and you are talking in a way that says, listen, I definitely want to be with you. You know, I definitely would like da. If that person says, oh no, you know, I'd rather be friends with you, to be fair, that person was probably taking you for a ride because they're a scumbag. But if you are somebody that is played it safe, played it safe, and you just spoke to that person, you've been to that person, you've been a hero, you've been that person that they can vent to, that person they can cry, blah 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 blah. Honestly, at that moment in time, depending on that person, they're probably viewing you in terms of your in terms of how you care for them more as a friend rather than as a partner. Listen, it all varies. It all varies. That's the thing. You see what I'm saying? And sometimes some people can be a little bit scared to get with somebody who cares for them too much because they think, I don't really want to get with you because what if we don't work out and then I lose these benefits you're giving me? So maybe I should keep you as a friend so I can keep these benefits. There is that part too. There's so many different levels to it. But at the end of the day, when these things happen to you on a continuous basis, it means there is something about you, there's something about how you carry yourself that is giving this man or woman this energy. It's just that simple. Okay? And also it comes down to the fact that you're probably going for the same person, for the same type of person time and time again too. That one could also be a factor, I think. But with Tim, I'm 100% sure it is how he carries himself. He carries himself in a way that tells people, you know what, you'd be a good friend, but you wouldn't be a good partner. And that's down to him to figure that out. But nonetheless, though, let's move on to some of the tea that we have here, never seen before.
I believe she played me, but it is what it is. He want to stay in a house. He ain't got no money to rent a house. Share a wheelchair. Maybe in America it's a normal way, but in where I come from, I don't think it's normal. And I don't want to put too much negativity in it because I feel like it is what it is. Only been dating once. I've never been dating twice. So
I mean, listen, husband can sit here and say that Courtney played him. I mean, listen, partially it's true. Maybe she did play him. To be fair, I can see it. But the thing is, though, even if she played him, he played himself the most. Okay, he knew that this woman was prioritizing another man the whole time he was there. It's something that he even voiced to her, and she still didn't take it on board, and she still continued to prioritize Colt being in hospital. At the end of the day, the writing was on the wall. You didn't read it, you didn't absorb it, you didn't read the terms and conditions, you didn't process it, you didn't analyze it, you didn't send it to ChatGPT. So you stuck around hoping that she was still going to come back and be yours because he was a clown. That's it. And probably underestimate Colt's abilities to manipulate a woman. It's just that simple. Not win a woman over, to manipulate, because Colt doesn't win women over. He manipulates them. That's why he goes through women like kids. That's why he goes through women the same way a kid goes through shoes when they first grow up, because they grow up so freaking fast. You know what I mean? Parents always have to be at the shoe show getting them new shoes. If it's not new shoes, it's a new skirt. If it's a new skirt, it's new shorts. If it's not that, it's new trousers. It's a calamity, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, he can talk about how, oh, well, I may have been bitten once by Cortney, but it won't happen twice. I mean, listen, That's kind of a lie, because how many times did he have to address himself to Courtney that he wanted her, and how many times did he have to love her bomber that he wanted her? So to be fair, you can talk about not about being bitten once and never twice, but yet, if you ask me, he got bitten multiple times because there was multiple signs that said that, hey, she's not giving you her 100. That's simple. Even if she was giving him the hope, she was never giving the 100. And a man of his age should understand that if a woman is not giving you your 100, then you better bounce. It's just that simple. So you played yourself more than she played you. That's just the reality of it. But let's continue, ladies and gentlemen. This is good. Very good.
Word. He was definitely like surprised, which honestly it's super petty of me, but that's what I wanted. I wanted to like almost like get him back. Right? So I did that kind of to surprise. I wanted him to think I was gonna pick him.
Dear Lord. One of the most slyest person of the season, I'll tell you this now. The most slyest person of the season. But obviously this is her saying that when I did pick Rocky, I did pick him and I did want to see Carlo's reaction. I wanted to make him feel a certain type of way. I mean, listen, I appreciate the honesty. I really do appreciate the honesty, you know what I'm saying? And to be fair, Carlo did deserve it, so yeah.
And I wanted him to be like reaction when he was like, well, I didn't want to pick her anyway. I'm gonna pick the girl that I wanted to pick all along, Elise.
Well, she got what she wanted. She got what she wanted.
Asking Rob on a date.
Who says I didn't?
Ooh.
We might have, I'm on bark, dude. I like flirt with him so hard, but like he'll get too close and I'm like,
I regret not going on a date with Rob.
yeah.
I find this so fascinating. So fascinating. So Tiffany hints that the date Rob could have happened. Courtney's like, I did regret one. Very fascinating. I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't see one of you two even try and brave his direction. But okay then.
He was begging me all the time. I was like, sorry, I'm busy with Colt. Like, this has to wait until after the retreat.
Bitch, meet me outside.
I don't know if I believe that Rob was begging Courtney to go on a date. I really don't know if I believe that, to be honest with you. I don't think I do believe that. And also, yeah, no, I just don't see it happening. Just don't see it happening. This is just two women talking a bunch of gobbledygook. It's crazy though, because they both walked away from the show with a man each, but yet they're still talking about how, oh, I wish I had gone on a date with said person though. Some people just like to talk just for the sake of talking. But let me know your thoughts on that one. Do you think a date with Rob and Tiffany would have gone well? A date with Rob and Courtney would have gone well? And also, do you think that either one of these women would have been a good match for Rob, or Rob would have been a good match for them? For me personally, one word: calamity.
Answer tomorrow.
Like, you've known her for 3 weeks and she half the time and y'all engaged now? Listen, and I'm
Oh, like that line hit hard though, man. You've known her for 3 weeks and she's been effing me this whole time, and now you want to be engaged. But obviously, in case you've forgotten, folks, Cole went the whole way. He literally said to Jen that you know, after this, you know, I want to come to Colombia, and obviously, given that things go in Colombia as well, I want to then obviously, you know, look into a visa process of you coming to the United States, which obviously we all know would be 90-day fiance engagement. This is what I'm saying. Because Cole was a clown. Yeah, he was really out there, really trying to beat Rob to get Jen's, you know, Jen's attention. And to be fair, it bloody worked. To be fair with you.
honestly just sounds like he's layering on the expectations of like convincing her, yes, I'm the guy. He's Puerto Rican, whatever.
That's exactly what he's doing. And you know what the thing is? What Cole doesn't even realize, that if him and Jen actually did work out, or if they do work out, and she does come to the United States, I don't think he understands that he's going to be financially reliable for her and her child. And when I say financially reliable, I'm not talking about visa type, like when you have like the spousal support stuff. I'm not talking about that. Obviously, that'll be a part of it, whether that be 5-10 years. But what I mean is, for the rest of his life, he's with that woman. She ain't gonna be doing nothing to get money. She'll be living off his back pocket, and that's something that he doesn't realize because he's a clown.
Is that she has done that has him not knowing how to see who she is or what's in front of him, like that's a real response, not a...
The thing that bothers me most of Rob is that he talks about obviously all these things about Jen and how they're all red flags and whatnot, but yet he's the one that still wanted to pursue her. He still tried to win her over. I mean, to be honest with you, like when he's talking, it's like, bro, but are you recognizing that you're a hypocrite, right? That you was avoiding all these same red flags that Cole was avoiding because you still wanted to pursue her. Like I said before, my live stream, we live stream every Monday and every Tuesday, just so you know, folks. And we will be live, I believe we will be live on stream actually till later on today too. But anyway, like I said then, I'll say it again. Toxic pussy, dangerous pussy. And clearly that's what Jen's got. But both these two men were moving completely mad in the most unhealthy way possible. One's out here literally proposing before Cole's out here proposing before him and Jen are even exclusive. They're not even partners yet. That's crazy, man. Yeah, women like Jen, those are women that I stay away from.
Had a rough 3 weeks. I mean, she was kind of with that guy half the time, but like, I could see a K1 visa. What?
Immature, even if he's older than Colt. Maybe for what Colt does for a living, he had to kind of like grow up really young and.
So Jen's out here saying the reason why she picked Colt over Rob is because Rob is too mature for somebody of his age. Now, I don't disagree with that. For somebody of his age, 35, he's definitely still very immature. I don't disagree with that at all. And then also with Jen, she's 33, and she goes, even though she ended up picking someone that was obviously younger than her, she feels as if Colt has more maturity than Rob, which is crazy work, because I think both Rob and to be fair, to be honest, I would say Rob probably displayed that he was actually more mature than freaking Colt throughout the season. But at the same time, though, he also displayed that he's a massive hypocrite, because you say certain things that were quite intelligent, but then also be hypocrite to them. For example, noticing that Jen has many red flags, but still pursuing her. Hypocrite to that. You know what I mean? Another example, telling Colt that, hey, can you not see your woman is getting jealous over me literally spending time with another woman? You know what I mean? And which was the point where literally Colt literally made it 100% that he was immature and a simp, because instead of recognizing what Jen was doing, he decided to defend her instead because he's a clown. But either way, though, I don't know how you can talk about maturity when it comes to this triangle. No one in this triangle is mature. So the fact that she's saying she didn't want to pick Rob because of that, if I'm gonna call it what it is, it's nothing but a lie. She picked Cole because he's younger and easy to manipulate. Throughout the whole season, he's the one that she had under the thumb the most. You see what I'm saying? No matter what she did with Rob in front of him, he still kept taking her back. And not only was he taking her back, he was still begging her back, which is just nasty work. That's the reality of it. I mean, like, we can never take what Jen says seriously, because the woman is a compulsive liar.
You know, yeah, that just makes him more right of me, even if he's younger than me, which is crazy that.
Yeah, whatever you say, dearie, whatever you say. Let me know your thoughts, but hey, let's continue. There is more.
But like at one point, Jen was wearing Rob's room key. So at the resort, our room keys were not like cards or actual keys. Our room keys were these like I don't know, woven bracelets with like tap it on the door and that would open the door. Rob gave Jen one of his room keys. I guess it's the girls kind of marking their territory. Even the guys, like you can have
Interesting.
full access to me and wear my bracelet around.
Wait, hold on.
Ha! Oh, Tiffany's so scared to say it to my face. You want to be
My super better.
Oh yes, but obviously in this scene here, obviously Tiffany was speaking to Jen in Spanish, I believe. And now Lisa's obviously piping up about it. That Lisa woman, she loves to just be crazy.
If you want to be a bitch, be a proud evil and be a proud bitch and say it loud and proud. When saying it, I don't know how Tiffany's able to get away with it. Like,
I think she's like a mastermind manipulator.
This is why I'm looking really forward to the tell-all, you know, because I know obviously that Tiffany and Courtney kind of go at it, you know what I mean, which is going to be very interesting to watch. But they're not lying, though. Like I said at the beginning of this video, Tiffany has been the biggest manipulator. Well, probably not the biggest, but one of the biggest, yeah. Well, actually, no. She's been the slyest manipulator. Now, I held that she's been the biggest, but anyway, we'll continue. I'm sure we're going to have plenty of time talking about it when we do our live stream on the tell-all on Tuesday anyway.
completely agree. You, and let me explain why it's your fault and your fault, and I'm not the problem. But it's
So right now, this is at least demonstrating exactly how Tiffany carries herself. How Tiffany will always point fingers at everybody else and never at herself. Which for the most part she did do, but when it took to, but when she had no choice to take accountability, she did take accountability. I will give her that, to be fair. Like, she did apologize to Elise when she found out that Carla was playing them both. So I give her that.
If I know you gave it to me.
tell you whose bracelet it was, or that it was just another girl's bracelet.
Yeah, another girl's bracelet, basically. But at some point, I think I heard that it was hers.
Petty, but still worried, just be petty. Ah, dear.
That I wore it on purpose.
Up, went and got me breakfast, brought it back to my room, bought the flight, made her choose him, spent the entire day together.
Wow.
Texted me all day when I wasn't around with him.
So give you a little backstory here. So before they all chose, obviously, who they wanted to leave the experiment with or whatever, Carlo had already bought his plane ticket to go back to Miami with Jen before the ceremony. It was even a thing before he even picked her, right? But even though he had already bought a ticket, meanwhile, in the same timeline, he was telling Tiffany, or giving Tiffany the impression that he was hoping that she would pick him to be the one that she wants to leave with, which obviously we know didn't happen. So obviously she's saying, I don't understand what's going on here. This guy literally what was he doing? Now, my assumption is, I believe that he bought one of those refundable tickets, and he was having Elise ready as a backup plan. If Tiffany had picked him, he would have cancelled that ticket and got refundable ASAP. But obviously, because she didn't pick him, he then obviously went back to Elise and said, see, I told you I was going to pick you, blah, 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 blah. That's how I think it went down. But to be honest, if you were given that information, the way Elise reacted when Carlo went up there and picked him, her reaction was time was, but I don't know if I'm gonna still want to be with you because everything has happened. The whole thing is kind of messed up now because it kind of says the editing was a bit off key. I hope I'm making sense. I know I'm making sense in my head, but yeah, whatever.
The queen you deserve. I can't wait to do this life with you. I can't wait to come back to Miami with you. Like, kidding me?
Like you.
I know, that's the big question today. You are a sun in this galaxy, and I feel like
And this is the scene here of him obviously speaking to Tiffany prior to them, obviously, prior to Tiffany picking Rocket over him. But obviously in this one, you can see he's trying to reassure Tiffany they still want her. But he had already bought that plane ticket to Miami and told Elise that he's coming with her, which is what she's pointing out basically.
we're stars like floating around you.
Carlo, to this day, swears he never said that to Tiffany. Carlo.
Again, to clarify, so in the most recent episode as well, itself in particular, Carlo said some words to Elise about how you're my one, da 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 da, and Tiffany said he's already said that to me though prior, and Carlo tried to make it seem as if, you know, Tiffany was just being jealous. Now, Elise, for the first time, has now seen Carlo actually saying these words to Tiffany before he actually said it to her. So she's now seeing that Tiffany wasn't lying and she wasn't being jealous, and Carlo was a liar.
It was like, Elise, I swear on my mom dying in her sleep. Said that to Tiffany. And I actually believed him up until the second I saw this.
Tiffany was what I thought I should do, and Elise was what I wanted to do, ultimately.
Yeah. So why did you end up going with Elise if you had planned not to pick anybody?
So
You see, this is where the lie comes in, because the fact is, though, he didn't end up actually going with Elise because of... It's not like he picked Elise over Tiffany. He had no choice but to pick Elise because Tiffany didn't pick him. But the excuse is surreal.
I and Elise wanted more, and I slept on it. I was like, you know what, let's try it, and I bought a ticket to Miami, and I went.
Well, Carlo will say whatever he wants to say, but that's not exactly how it all plans out. Based on obviously the events that we saw, and also Cole's question basically was pointless, you know what I mean? Because we saw the event, and he only legit went to Elise purely because Tiffany picked Rocky. Simple as 1, 2, 3. Now, throughout the whole season, obviously, you know, I've been sitting here, a lot of us have been sitting here saying Cole is the biggest simp of the season, which I still generally believe, but I think the biggest douchebag of the season has to be Carlo, 1000%. The guy's full of it. But nonetheless, though, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. We can talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.